Welcome to Prime Top 10, where we uncover the truth behind the headlines. Today, we delve into a topic that has sparked heated debates and international scrutiny. The Gaza War exposed as a fight for oil and gas. Have you ever wondered what lies beneath the surface of this conflict? Is it truly a religious dispute between Muslims and Jews, or is there more to it than meets the eye? Join us as we unravel the layers of complexity and uncover the hidden motivations behind the Gaza War. South Africa filed a lawsuit against Israel at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, in The Hague on December 29, 2023, accusing Israel of committing genocide against the Palestinian people. The ICJ conducted hearings on South Africa's request for provisional measures on January 11 and 12, 2024. The protracted dispute between Israelis and Palestinians stands out as one of the enduring conflicts on the global stage, originating in the mid-20th century. The intricate and long-standing origins of the conflict precede the establishment of Israel in 1948. In 2023, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, initiated a large-scale incursion into the Gaza Strip, aiming to eliminate Hamas and dismantle its control over the Gaza Strip. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a long-running dispute over land and sovereignty between Israelis and Palestinians. Here's a brief overview. The conflict originated from competing claims to the territory historically known as Palestine. The Jewish people claimed historical and religious ties to the land, while the Palestinian Arabs were the majority of inhabitants there during the 20th century. In 1947, the UN proposed dividing Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. Jewish leaders accepted the plan, but Arab leaders rejected it. In 1948, Israel declared independence as a Jewish state, leading to the First Arab-Israeli War. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were expelled during the war. In the 1967 Six-Day War, Israel captured the West Bank and Gaza Strip, as well as other territories, exacerbating the refugee crisis and bringing more Palestinians under Israeli control. Today, the key issues are borders, Israeli settlements in the occupied territories, the status of Jerusalem, Palestinian sovereignty, and the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Violence has flared up periodically, including intifadas, wars between Israel and Arab states or Palestinian groups, and clashes over holy sites. Efforts continue to broker a lasting peace agreement, but a resolution still needs to be achieved. The conflict remains a source of tension and violence in the region today. According to a report from the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, the Levant Basin holds approximately 122 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and an estimated 1.7 billion barrels of recoverable oil. This presents a potential to allocate and distribute around $500 billion among various regional stakeholders. The geopolitical dynamics of the Middle East have witnessed a seismic shift with the discovery and exploitation of oil and natural gas reserves in the Levant Basin. This article explores this energy landscape comprehensively, aiming to unravel the intricate threads of economic valuation, historical entitlements, and international legal considerations. The focal point is the assessment of oil and gas reserves in Israel and the imperative question of the Palestinian claim to these resources. Geologists and natural resources economists confirm significant oil and natural gas reserves in Area C of the occupied West Bank and off the Mediterranean coast near the Gaza Strip. Palestinians are denied access to develop and exploit these resources due to the ongoing occupation, resulting in significant economic losses. Estimated losses due to the denial of exploiting oil and natural gas reserves are in the billions of dollars. The longer Palestinians are prevented from exploiting these resources, the greater the opportunity costs and overall costs of the occupation. Several research investigations have determined that, in the absence of the occupation, the Palestinian national income would be at least double its current level. Nevertheless, the UNCTAD asserted that the preceding studies had only superficially addressed the substantially greater economic burdens imposed by the occupation on the Palestinian people. Therefore, they advocated for the creation of a systematic, evidence-driven, comprehensive, and sustainable framework within the United Nations system to assess and record the economic costs of the Israeli occupation on the Palestinian people. The United Nations fact-finding mission on the Gaza conflict concluded that Israel's continuing occupation is a fundamental factor leading to violations of international law and undermining prospects for development and peace. However, there's a critical question regarding the rightful claim to these resources. The study underscores the historical context, emphasizing that Palestinians owned the majority of the land in historic Palestine before 1948. References to General Assembly Resolution 181 of 1947 and the Oslo Accords suggest that Palestinians may claim a legitimate share in the recently discovered reserves. However, the complexities of property rights, international agreements, and historical nuances necessitate further economic and legal research. Highlighting the unique characteristics of oil and gas, the UNCTAD study emphasizes their borderless nature, prolonged accumulation periods, and non-renewable status. The gap between potential and realized values is exacerbated in the occupied Palestinian territory due to unclear property rights, introducing both horizontal and vertical equity concerns. While the discoveries present an opportunity for collaboration, the study warns of potential conflict, as we are witnessing now, if parties exploit resources without due consideration for the fair share of others. It advocates for a balanced approach that prioritizes equitable distribution, acknowledging the interconnected nature of these resources. Israel is an occupying power continuing to exploit Palestinian natural resources, including oil and gas. Imposed restrictions on Palestinian movement, production, and trade by Israel contribute to escalating costs as the occupation persists, raising ethical and legal questions. Under the Fourth Geneva Convention, an occupying power cannot exploit the resources of an occupied territory for its benefit. This principle applies to the Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories. The Fourth Geneva Convention, adopted in 1949, is a set of international treaties establishing the humanitarian rules of war, focusing on protecting civilians during armed conflict. It outlines the rights and protections afforded to civilians who find themselves in the hands of an enemy, especially in occupied territories. We must acknowledge that Palestine deserves to receive its equitable portion of the advantages derived from the oil and natural gas reserves in the occupied territories and the Eastern Mediterranean. Currently, these resources are exclusively exploited by Israel. Under international law, occupied territories should not be exploited by the occupying power for its exclusive benefit. The ownership of these resources, oil and gas, should pertain to the territory under occupation rather than the occupying authority. Israel has gained advantages from the oil and gas reserves located beneath Palestinian lands and waters. The resources in an occupied territory should benefit the local population rather than the occupying power. This war is not about Hamas. It's about oil and gas. Hamas is the disguise. Thank you for watching Prime Top 10. If you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Remember, knowledge is power, and together, we can uncover the truth behind the headlines.